Hi, today we're going to be talking about workplace health and safety traffic management. My name is Michael Terry, I'm from Momentum Safety and Ergonomics, and this is the 5-Minute Safety Series. So it's important that we identify all the hazards associated with traffic in our workplace. And again, like every other situation, there's going to be some workplaces that are very low risk, have minimal traffic movement, and there's going to be many workplaces where that risk is much higher. So we need to talk to our workers and observe our workplace like we always do when it comes to every hazard topic out there. But specific to traffic management, what we're trying to capture here is areas where there is either really high traffic, so you've got lots of vehicles, forklifts, load shifting equipment for example, interacting with each other. But specifically we're looking for areas where there's high pedestrian and vehicle interaction. And particularly we're looking here for reversing vehicles, such as forklifts. We really know forklifts are one of the highest risk vehicles out there because of the fact that they do spend a lot of their time reversing, and they are often working in close with pedestrians as well. So do have a look at how your forklift operates, and we want to try and assess at this point how likely it is that a person is going to come in contact with that forklift. With our risk assessment, we want to make sure that we incorporate traffic management into the risk assessment for other areas. So you might have a risk assessment for your dock, for example. Traffic management must be part of that risk assessment. You may have a risk assessment for a piece of equipment like a forklift. Traffic management should be part of that risk assessment. And if we're using safe work method statements or SWMS in a construction work environment, we need to make sure that traffic management is included as one of the risks in that method statement as well. So when it comes to traffic management, they are incorporated into all the other risk assessments that we do. When it comes to risk control, the ideal risk control is elimination, of course, and here we're looking at having some sort of system where you have full separation of your pedestrians and vehicles. Pretty hard and really unlikely for most workplaces that that's going to be the case, but of course that's what we're trying to do as our initial. After that, we're going to look at some other engineering options. So you might try and have some sort of physical barrier between your vehicles, such as your forklifts, trucks, or people. So this might be bollards. But another one I've seen used quite well these days is something called geofencing, which is where you have GPS embedded into the vehicle and it physically will stop the vehicle when it goes past a pre-designated line or space. Those are both really good engineering options. When it comes to administrative controls, if we can't completely separate our pedestrians and vehicles via engineering options, we do need to look at administrative controls. And here we're going to be talking about things like traffic management plans. So you're going to have specific zones where forklifts operate and particular walkways, for example, where pedestrians are able to walk. And these are known and understood by all workers and trained obviously in those as well. You might also look at other options like safety devices on your vehicles. So it might be reverse beepers, and also a lot of forklifts these days are using a particular blue light scenario where as the forklift's reversing there's a big blue light that gets flashed on the floor and it alerts people to the hazard of a reversing forklift. Our main personal protective equipment here is going to be our high-vis workwear. Pretty much everyone has high-vis on these days, but this is one area where I think it actually does make a big difference, is just making sure that the pedestrians are a little bit more visible than they otherwise would be in the workplace. So the main takeaways for today are the fact that we do need to take a good close look at traffic management and making sure that we identify situations where pedestrians and vehicles may be interacting with each other. Once we find that, we'll do an appropriate risk assessment and implement the controls according to the hierarchy of control which are going to best reduce that risk. And that's going to be using engineering options which physically obstruct the vehicle from getting close to pedestrians where possible, and where not possible, clear administrative controls such as traffic plans, exclusion zones, and the appropriate safety devices on the plant equipment that we're using. Thanks for watching the 5-minute safety series. If you felt like you got some value out of these videos, please click on the screen to see some of the other videos in the 5-minute safety series, or otherwise feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel.